इजराइल में इस समय क्या परिस्थितियां हैं, इस पर बात करने के लिए हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं अमित हलेवी, जो सांसद हैं रूलिंग पार्टी के इजराइल में। अमित सर, वेलकम ऑन द शो ऑन एबीपी न्यूज। थैंक्स फॉर स्पीकिंग टू अस। वेरी pertinent question presently. What is the present situation in Israel as far as your entire process and of course offense towards Hamas is concerned?
Thank you for inviting me. Okay, the situation here is, in one word, is war. As you know, we are in a very aggressive and a very brutal war, because what we saw in the few last, in the last weekend, as I'm sure all of your viewers saw, we saw actually, I even can't say animals, because we are talking about people that animals are angels relatively to their behavior. We are talking about masquerade and about burning babies, about women that were raped, and we're talking about views that we saw 8 years ago with the Nazis. That's what we are. That's where we are. So sorry,
What is
one
the
second.
next plan of action?
Oh.
What is the next plan of action? And how much of Hamas entire area have you been able to take control of and destroy completely?
Yes, I think first of all, those are the goals, should be the goals, and it should be very clear. The goals of the war, the goals of this operation should be those two goals that you mentioned. First of all, completely, totally destroying the Hamas organization, all his people, all his branches in the Gaza Strip, by the way, in the region in general. That's one target. And the other one is to take over and to have Israeli control all over Gaza Strip. That should be the targets. And I will not talk here about the operational steps that we are doing, but we are in the middle of the war. Actually, we really started yesterday in many dimensions, and I hope, pray, and do my best in order that those two targets will be completely implemented. Taking over, whipped out the Hamas organization, and taking over the Gaza Strip.
You have used airstrikes. You have also used ground assault. If you could describe on what is the kind of operational integrities that are involved in this special operation.
Look, in the days nowadays, we are acting mostly from the air, also from the sea, and I think that's the way that we need to continue. In the first stage, all the Hamas bases, all the infrastructure of Hamas, the roads, all the weapons, gas, water, electricity, all those things should be taken off as soon as possible, immediately. And I will tell you now, that's why I think to go inside now by our the regular units, it should not be now. First of all, we need to finish what we are doing from the air and from the sea, and this is the first step. I want to tell you one more thing regarding this issue. We are calling, and I call here in your respectable channel, every Gaza citizen. I think he has today two options. One, to get out from the Gaza Strip, to go to the Rafah border, to go to the border with Egypt, and to get out from Gaza Strip. Anybody that stay in the Hamas area is under danger. He must get out. And there is another option. And the other option, to do exactly as some of the Germans and others do in the World War II, to participate in the resistance to those Nazis, to those Hamas soldiers. And every guy, every citizen from Gaza that will kill Hamas terrorist, or will harm him, or will create a group that will fight the Hamas, he will be, an honorable citizen in Israel. And I think that every human being that saw what we all saw in the last weekend should be part of it. And I think that the international community, and I'm saying it here also to the India people, should not only condemn, should do whatever it can, in order to arrest all the Hamas leaders as international, people that made international and war crimes against humanity. It's not only against our people. Those there were crimes against the humanity. So I think
coming
this
to
is
that point, you said Hamas, it is also being equated to ISIS. Do you think whatever the international forces had done to the ISIS chief and others, have you been able to identify the Hamas chief, or what is the quantum of damage that you've been able to do in that region?
So first of all, I think it's not a precise comparedness. Why? Because from one side it's the same like the ISIS, like Daesh. You're right. The same cruel ways of actions, and the same ideology, by the way, same ideology. But from the other side, Hamas is not organization. Hamas took over Gaza for the last 18, 19 years. And those more than 1 million, even more, people were educated by Hamas ideology. Means that we have issue here, we have business here not only with organization, and we should kill only the organization. We have a society that actually back up this horrible ideology. So that's why I said before that every honest and every human being that is in Gaza Strip must do one of two: or to get out from Gaza, or to kill Hamas terrorists. That's the only way. He must declare that he is not belong to this evil society. This is what need now. So it's like ISIS, but it's much worse than ISIS, because we have a deal here with society, not with individuals that has organizations, but with complete society that we need to to put the mirror in front of her and to tell her, or you are in the good guys of the humanity, or you are with the Nazis and other terrorists in the past. So it's little more even worse than the ISIS.
There are questions being raised on a few Middle East countries, including Iran. What is the role that you say or see of these countries vis-a-vis this attack?
Look, Iran is a major player in this attack, because Iran is actually the biggest sponsor of Hamas organization. More than 80% of Hamas budget that aimed mostly to terror and delegitimization of Israel. This is from Iran. By the way, it's not the only proxy of Iran. You have, in Yemen, you have in Iraq, you have in Syria, you have in Lebanon. Every place that Iran promoted its proxy, she actually destroyed the local country, destroyed it, and brought to the arena terror, evil, corrupt. That's Iran all about. So Iran is a very big player also in this war. One thing. Second, we can see in the Muslim world that actually split to two groups. Those one that want to promote Abraham heritage. That's why our agreement named Abraham Accords, and that actually see the religion, see the Muslim religion as a religion with faith, that educate to faith, to justice, to truth, to morality. This is one side of the Muslim world, and there is the other side, and the other side is in front of us. And I think the Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, like the Emirates, should loudly and clearly, and I get a lot of responses from people from Saudi Arabia, in many places in the Muslim world, that say this is not religion, this is not our religion. Yes, it's important to say here, it's not our religion, it's not religion at all. They are infidel, they are
Your,
not religious people.
your Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had spoken to the Prime Minister of India, of my country, Mr. Narendra Modi. What was the conversation, if you could share anything about it, and how do you see India in the scheme of present situation?
Yes, I think the Prime Minister, first of all, thank him for the backing, the backup that your Prime Minister, very, respectable man and leader in our country. We love Modi, and we have a very good connection to India. I have the privilege to be the head of the Indian, Jewish, Indian Israel Parliamentarian Friendship Group. So it's a great honor for me. And I think the Indian people showed, and your leader showed this week, that India is in the, as it's used to say, the right side of the history, the right and the only one, and the only right side of the history. And India and Israel are both two civilizations that has, 4,000 years of civilization that promoted faith and culture of justice. And I think this is it's what that's by the way, that was the major issue in their conversation. I mean, they talked about what happened here, and our Prime Minister thanked him about his backing. And I think the Indian people should be part, as it is today, in the resistance to all the terror powers in the Muslim world and at all. And I think the alliance that we have together, I mean the G, if I allow, the G alliance, yes, Jewish-Indic alliance, is very important in the future of the world. As President Biden said not a long time ago about the train road between India, from India through the sea, through the Emirates and Saudi Arabia and Jordan till the Haifa Gulf, is just part of the, this is the economical road, but it's a bridge of two civilizations that have a lot of common values, and that's the important issue here.
You did mention about United States of America. What has been the help and assistance extended from USA and other parts of the world to Israel?
Okay, we in the last few days we have some weapons, different kind of weapons that you have got from America. America is, a very strong friend of Israel, and as you saw, there is the aircraft that came here yesterday, and Hamas war or Gaza war is not only in Gaza. We have the same problem in Lebanon. We have the same problem in part of Judea and Samaria. And we have the major problem with Tehran, with Iran. That's why the cooperation and the working together with the United States of America is very important, not only in terms of the weapon and the airplanes and things like that, also that what seems to be an international issue. It's not our issue. It's a regional issue, first of all, of the Middle East, and it's more than that, because this war did not happen just, by occasion in this time. It was after that we promoted the agreement with Saudi Arabia, after the Fox News interview of Mohammed bin Salman. And I think our enemies, the enemies of the peace, the enemies of the prosperity, the enemies of the truth, actually, Iran and all its proxies, include Hamas.
Tell me one thing. You're a country...
One more sentence, in your permission. They knew that if we, the Jewish people, the Israeli people, will have agreement with Saudi Arabia, with Mecca, means that we are Banu Israel, as it's in the Quran. We are Banu Israel. We are the sons of Israel, sons of Isaac, sons of Abraham. This means we have common values of faith, of truth, and as it is in the Quran, and you can listen to those voices from Saudi Arabia today, not from the leaders, but from many, not for many people. In the Quran, the land of Israel belongs to the sons of Israel, belongs to the Jewish people. It's a revolution in terms of the extremists of the Islam. That's why there is such a resistance for it. And that's why it's so important, the revolution that has been done in the Middle East and in the Muslim world regarding Israel, regarding the common values that we have with this part of the Islam is very important. And that's why the extremists of the Islam, the murderers, those one like Haj Amin al-Husseini 100 years ago, he was a good friend of Hitler. These are his descendants. These are his sons and grandchildren that now in Gaza Strip, in Lebanon, in Iran, are trying to continue with his legacy. So this is the issue in the Muslim world. There are two roads here. One road of faith, morality, truth, and justice, and the other road is terror, evil, and what we see that coming out from Iran. So that's why this war is actually, as I said, it's not just like that came in this period of time. And regarding your question, we expect to every country in the world actually that belong to the free countries, to the liberal countries, to countries that believe in freedom, to be against those countries. That's why I said it's not only in Gaza. We accept that India and America and Europe will cooperate in a long effort to take out, to whip out, to kill actually all those organizations as it's been done with Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
Tell me one thing. There is one question that needs to be answered by the Israel authorities, including you. You have always been known in the world of having one of the best agencies to handle security at all status and all stature. Mossad, is it a failure of the intelligence on behalf of the entire Israel as a nation?
First, yes. The answer is yes. Of course, it was a horrible failure. I mean, there was a colossal failure. I mean, not only in the terms of intelligence, it was intelligence failure, it was operational failure. There is no question about it. We are not dealing now to investigate and to research about the sources and the root. Not now. I mean, we're in the middle of a war. We are doing the researches and the investigations only regarding things that we need to the war. That's of course we are doing, but we are not dealing now with who is blaming in this and that, because we are in the middle of the war. We have a great army. We have more than 150% of recruiting people now to the army. I mean, we're in full capacity, much more than full, yes, actually 150% of soldiers with full motivation. I want to tell you something. They ripped our women. They burned our babies. Israel is not going to get over, to wake to tomorrow morning like the world is the same. The world is not the same. Israel is not the same. We want revenge, and we will do it. I mean, our soldiers are ready now, and I think again, every Hamas terrorist in Gaza should be very careful tonight and in the following days, because this status of Hamas in the Gaza Strip will not be anymore. Nobody of those terrorists will stay alive. And I'm saying again, as what I said before, other citizens in the Gaza Strip, they are part of the Hamas society. They are part of the Hamas authority. Everybody there. And everybody that doesn't go out from the border near Egypt, it's he actually
Where do you see this
declared.
ending? Where do you and when do you see this ending?
When what exactly again?
Where and when do you see it coming to an end?
The end will be when all the Hamas terrorists will be died. That's the end of it, and full control of Israel on Gaza Strip. That's the end. I think it can take a few weeks. If you ask me, it depends in many components here of this war. It can take a few weeks, but I don't care if it will take 1 year or two, because we must come to the conclusion after what we have passed that the model of giving somebody else, other authority, other people, whatever it's Abu Mazen or Hamas, it's all the same, by the way. It's not really makes the difference, to take over our piece of land and to educate people there, to kill Jews with this anti-Semitism, and to murder Jews. That's the way they educating in the math. I'm not talking about history, math. What is 1 + 1 is to kill one Jew and another Jew, so you kill two Jews. This is how the way they will learn math in the schools.
And
so
a personal question.
Okay.
Did you get emotional when you saw what was happening in your country, and what was your first reaction? Did you get emotional? What was your first thought and emotion? Did you cry?
More than crying. It's I don't know if your viewers saw the movies, but the movies are horrible. It's not only, it's much more than crying. It's shock that is Israeli never have actually since the Holocaust. I mean, there was never such a butcher of more than almost 1,300 Israelis, and it was not war. Yes, we are talking about elderly and babies and women with no defense. It wasn't a war. It was just a terrorist attack. Nazis attacked that came to babies, ripped the women in front of their eyes, of their husbands and their kids, and killed them. They took 40 babies and they burned them. It's something that you can't actually describe even.
Well, absolutely. I agree with you on this. And on a very emotional note, thank you so much for joining us and sparing your time within wartime and writing history once again. Thanks a lot for speaking to ABP News.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
जैसे ही घड़ी का काटा दोपहर 2:30 पे आए, बबीता जी का दिल सास बहू साजिश के लिए मचल जाए। और ये है इनकी बहू, पूरे दिन ऑफिस की टेंशन हो जाए गॉन जब ये करें अपना फेवरेट शो फ्री टाइम पे ऑन। इनकी तरह आप भी देखें अपना फेवरेट शो अपने टाइम पर और डाउनलोड कीजिए एबीपी लाइव ऐप अपने स्मार्ट टीवी पर।
एबीपी न्यूज आपको रखे आगे।